My dear students, I welcome all of you for today's session on design and analysis of algorithms. In this session, we will have a discussion about matrix multiplication. Okay, using divide and conquer strategy. So, you guys know if you are given two matrices of order m by n, okay, or two matrices, two compatible matrices that can be multiplied. Means you're given two matrices. Got it? Number of columns of first matrix should be same as number of rows of second matrix. Clear? The condition for matrix multiplication is that number of columns of first matrix should be same as number of rows of second matrix. So if you're given such two matrices, you know how to multiply those two matrices. Clear? So in this session, while discussing mathematical analysis of non-recursive algorithm, I discussed about analysis of matrix multiplication. Hope you remember. Okay. If not, just go through mathematical analysis of non-recursive algorithm and look at the problem analyzing the efficiency of matrix multiplication. So in that session, okay, I have taught you, means already you're familiar, and we have designed an algorithm which was a brute force approach for matrix multiplication. Means the way you solve, if I give you two matrices now and ask you to multiply, okay, you will, all of you will solve with the same strategy that has been taught in your primary school. Got it? So the same strategy, what we call here is a brute force strategy. Okay, first let me have a look at that conventional method of matrix multiplication. Okay, and let me analyze its efficiency. Okay, already we have analyzed the efficiency of that brute force approach for matrix multiplication, and we have found it to be big theta and means cubic. Got it? So brute force strategy for matrix multiplication is of the order of growth cubic. Got it? So now let me, in this session I will discuss with you an efficient approach. I mean better than brute force approach for matrix multiplication. Okay, means whose order of growth is less than cubic. Got it? We'll see, and that is the algorithm we call Strasson's matrix multiplication. Clear? So I will compare the efficiency of two approaches for matrix multiplication. One is the brute force approach, which is cubic. Okay, and the next I'm going to discuss with you a divide and conquer strategy named Strasson's matrix multiplication, whose growth rate is less than cubic. Got it? So now coming to agenda of today's session. So as I said, first we'll have a look at conventional method of matrix multiplication. Means I've given you two matrices, two legal matrices. Okay, legal in a sense, the legal input. I mean matrices are compatible for multiplication. I mean number of columns of first matrix is same as number of rows of second matrix. Okay, so now we will solve using the brute force approach. Means how we have been taught in your school life. Got it? So next we will design an algorithm for this conventional method of matrix multiplication. Okay, and then we'll analyze its efficiency. Got it? Analysis of conventional method. So now let me have a note of its efficiency. I repeat, it's already cubic. We have seen in earlier sessions. Next, I'll discuss with you a divide and conquer strategy named Strasson's matrix multiplication. Okay. Now let me, after discussing how to multiply two legal matrices using this strategy, let me analyze it. After analyzing, let me make a note of its efficiency. Okay, let me make a note of efficiency of Strasson's matrix multiplication. Then let me compare the efficiency of Strasson's matrix multiplication with conventional method. Okay, now coming to conventional method of matrix multiplication. See, in this I have taken two matrices of order 2 by 2. Got it? I mean, in both the matrices, 2 rows, 2 columns. Is this a legal input? I mean, can these two matrices be multiplied? Of course, because number of columns in first matrix, that is 2, is same as number of rows in second matrix, that is 2. So let the first element of let the elements of matrices A and B. Okay, B A11, A12, A21, A22, and B11, B12, B21, B22. Got it? Suppose after multiplying these two matrices, okay, well, let the resultant matrix be with 2 rows, 2 columns, and elements C11, C12, C21, C22. Okay, so now I've given this two matrices A and B for you to multiply. So what you will do? How you will compute C11 or brute force approach? I mean, how you have been taught in your school life. Okay, what you will do? We will multiply A11 with B11. For that, you will sum the product A12 and A12 B21. I repeat, to compute C11, okay, you will sum the products, I mean, to compute C11, first you will compute the product A11, B11, and the other product A12, B21. Then you will sum these two products. You have C11. Clear? Next, to compute C12, what you will do? You will compute the product A11, B12, and one more product A12, B22. Then you will sum it. So what you will get? C12. Okay. So to compute C21, what you will do? You will compute the product A21, B11, and one more product A22, B21. Then what you will do? You will sum these two products. You will have C21. Clear? So finally, to compute C22, what you will do? First, you will compute product A21, B12, and one more product A22, B22. Then you will sum these two products, you will have C22. Is it? So this is what you have been taught in your school life. And this is how you are going to compute the product of two matrices. Got it? So when you observe, now just in this computation, just observe how many multiplications. How many multiplications to come in computing C11? There were 2 multiplications. In computing C12, even there were 2 multiplications. Similarly, in computing C21, C22, there were 2 multiplications in each. So totally what I feel, there are 8 multiplications. Got it? I mean to say an order of matrix 2 by 2 of an order n by n. I'm multiplying, right? So it's a growth rate. I mean basic operation count. Okay, I mean you're given two matrices of order say n by n. For an example, consider 2 by 2. Here, what is n? 2. So how many multiplications have been involved in this case? Totally 8. That is nothing but n power 3. In this case, is 2 power 3, right? So n power 3, n cube, or 2 power 3, 2 cube multiplications. So in general, in my conventional method of matrix multiplication, the basic operation, that is multiplication, is performed n cube times. So growth rate of conventional method of matrix multiplication is cubic. I repeat, growth rate of conventional method of matrix multiplication is what? Cubic. Now, designing an algorithm. Okay. So how to design an algorithm? Okay. So here it's an algorithm. This algorithm, this is an algorithm. Okay, for matrix multiplication. So there are for I equals 0 to n minus 1 and for j equals 0 to n minus 1 means it represents for each row, there are 2 rows. I represents the row for whose elements I am computing in matrix C, and j represents here the column for whose matrix, column of a matrix C I am computing. Okay, got it? So, and we already discussed this algorithm in my earlier session while discussing mathematical analysis of non-recursive algorithm. Okay, so there, using mathematical analysis, okay, I've analyzed the efficiency of this algorithm, right? Hope you remember that. If not, let me have a look at analysis for 1 second. Okay, so first thing, just observe how many loops are there here. Totally 3 loops. The outer loop, we are using iteration variable I. In the second loop, okay, we are using iteration variable j, and in the third loop I am using iteration variable k. Okay, so there are totally 3 loops. These 3 loops can be represented with 3 summations, nested summation. These 3 loops, it's a nesting, right? So loop within a loop, right? So we'll use summation within summations, total 3 summations, and outer summation is I. For outer summation reference for I equals 0 to n minus 1. Got it? Like this. Outer summation I equals 0 to n minus 1, and the inner summation with j equals 0 to n minus 1, and within inner, okay, k equals 0 to n minus 1. And what is that one means? What is basic operation here? It's a multiplication. Got it? So main, of course, you can say even addition is a basic operation. Okay, number of addition same as number of multiplication, but addition multiplication was more time. Okay, so we can neglect addition, means addition is negligible compared to multiplication. Since addition is negligible compared to multiplication, I am comparing multiplication as basic operation. So for each iteration in k, how many times this multiplication is going to exit? It's 1. So here it is 1. So now we have represented a summation, right? So after representing summation, okay, after representing a summation, okay, for a basic operation count, that is the number of times multiplication is going to be executed. Okay, so now what you should do? You should solve the summation. So I taught you solving the summation in mathematical induction and subject discrete mathematical structures. Hope all of you remember. Okay, using the concept of mathematical induction from discrete mathematical structures, you need to solve the summation. On solving this summation, I'm going to get a basic operation count m of n equals n cube. N cube, clear? I said right. It was I said right while discussing this. I said 2 by 2 matrices. Okay. And how many multiplications here? Totally 8. That is nothing but 2 per 3. Got it? So in general, two matrices of order n by n means there are n cube multiplications. Got it? So now after computing the exact count for a basic operation, that is multiplication. Okay. So now what we should do, we should represent this in asymptotic notation. Asymptotic notation means should I go for big O, big omega, big theta? Okay. So, big O, when I will prefer one basic operation count, what I got. Okay. If it is an upper bound. Okay. Up to that. Okay. If basic operation count, what I got is minimum. Okay. Then I will go for big omega. But in this case, basic operation count should be executed n cube times, not even 1 less than n cube, not even 1 more than n cube. Clear? So the notation in this case I should prefer is big theta. Big theta, what big theta? Is nothing but same as the order of growth, same order of growth. Got it? So now we have analyzed the conventional method of matrix multiplication and found it to be n cube. Now we will come to divide and conquer strategy for matrix multiplication. Okay, and we'll see how divide and conquer strategy improves matrix multiplication. Got it? So now have a look at this slide. Again, I consider the same two matrices. Okay, of order 2 by 2 each. Okay, and the elements of two matrices are same as those elements which are taken while considering conventional method. Clear? So now here we found in conventional method there are 8 multiplications. Okay, suppose I can find a method strategy that takes even at least 1 multiplication less. Means if it reduces from 8 multiplication to 7 multiplications, even I mean at least 1 multiplication got reduced, means I can say the algorithm improved. Got it? Clear with this? So at least I need to look for a strategy that reduces multiplications from 8 to some lower way. Okay, if such an algorithm, such a strategy exists, okay, we can say algorithm has a better performance. Got it? Now look here, to compute elements of resultant matrix C. Okay, what we will do? Okay, first thing, okay, you choose in this we are going to choose select some 7 temporary variables. Got it? Designated as P, Q, R, S, T, U, V. Okay, now what actually P here? Now P is nothing but, okay, the product of two summations. A1 sorry, P is nothing but a product of two sums, A11 plus A22 into B11 plus B22. And what is Q? Q is nothing but A21 plus A22, the whole into B11. What is our A11 into B12 minus B22? What is S? A22 into B21 minus B11. What is T? A11 plus A12 into B22. What is U? A21 minus A11 into B11 plus B12. What is V? A12 minus A22 into B21 plus B22. I mean, you have given two n by n matrices. Okay, so you are given two n by n matrices. What you need to do for divide and conquer strategy? What I said. First, we need to look for the problem instance. If problem instance is smaller, I have solution directly. Got it? If problem instance is smaller, I have solution directly. I can return the solution. If problem instance is larger, what I should do? I told you to divide the problem into two subproblems of same type, but with smaller instance. So let me tell you, for divide and conquer strategy, two matrices I'm going to multiply. Okay, is said to be with a smaller instance only if its order is less than or equal to 2 by 2. I repeat, two matrices to be multiplied using divide and conquer strategy. I repeat, two matrices to be multiplied using divide and conquer strategy. I'll call them with a smaller instance if their order is 2 by 2 each. Okay, if two matrices to be multiplied, okay, using divide and conquer strategy is with order, okay, n by n, where n is greater than 2, then we need to divide those two matrices into four submatrices, each of order n by 2 into n by 2. I repeat, two matrices to be multiplied using divide and conquer strategy or with order n by n, where n greater than 2. Got it? I'll call those two matrices with larger instance. And as those two matrices of order n by n, where n greater than 2, should be divided into four submatrices. Four submatrices, each of order n by 2 by n by 2. Clear? For example, let me assume that the element in first matrix here I have shown what actually A11, right? Got it? In this case, I told you to treat it just an element, but this element, okay, A11, A12, A21, A22 might also be treated as a submatrix of some other larger matrix. Got it? Clear with this? Okay, got it. So I repeat, first listen cautiously. One I'm going to call two matrices with smaller instance. One I'm going to call two matrices with larger instance. Okay. So I repeat, two matrices to be multiplied is with order less n by n and n less than or equal to 2. Then I call them with smaller instance. Smaller instance. Then compute PQRSTUV. Once we compute PQRSTUV, you have C11, C12, C21, C22. Clear? Suppose two matrices to be multiplied using divide and conquer strategy is with order n by n, where n greater than 2. Got it? N is greater than 2. Now I'll call those two matrices S with larger instance. Okay. Now what I should do? I should divide those two matrices into four submatrices. each of size n by 2 by n by 2. Got it? Then in that case, for example, here let me say at two matrices of let me for example, okay, let me say there were two matrices of order, okay, two matrices of order 4 by 4. Got it? Assume I had given two matrices of order 4 by 4. Got it? So 4 greater than 2, I'll call that as larger instance. So what I'll do, 4 by 4 matrix, I will divide into 4 submatrices, each of order 2 by 2. Hope you got it. If not, I'll repeat this example. Suppose I have given two matrices of order 4 by 4. Okay, I'll call that is with larger instance. Okay, that is with larger instance. So what I should do, I should divide that into 4 submatrices. I should divide those two matrices of order 4 by 4 into 4 submatrices. Okay, each order 2 by 2 matrices. Got it? So now I got 4 submatrices from matrix A, 4 submatrices from matrix B. Got it? Each with order 2 by 2. So now this submatrices with order 2 by 2 is with smaller instance. Smaller instance means I have a solution. You use PQ or SPUV formula. Then you will have for those 4 submatrices of order 2 by 2 the elements of resultant matrix. Then you combine the solutions of these 4 submatrices to get a solution for the final matrix. Got it? So now we'll come to analysis of Strasson's matrix multiplication. We'll come to analysis of Strasson's matrix multiplication. Okay. First thing, so let me assume there are analysis of Strasson's matrix multiplication. So I said it follows which strategy? Divide and conquer strategy. Got it? So in case of divide and conquer strategy, I will use a recursive approach for designing a solution, for designing an algorithm. Clear? So when I say I'm using a recursive approach for designing an algorithm, I need to consider two things. What are those? Initial condition. Initial condition represents solution. One instance is small. And one more thing we need to consider is recurrence relation. And recurrence relation when the problem's instance is large. Okay. So here, see, for analysis of Strasson's matrix multiplication, okay, initial condition, I have shown both initial condition and recurrence relation. See, initial condition gives a solution when problem instance is small. Clear? Got it? So in case of matrix multiplication using divide and conquer strategy, when I said the problem is with smaller instance, I mean when I am going to call two matrices to be multiplied is with smaller instance if its order is less than 2 by 2. Clear? If its order is less than 2 by 2, I mean two matrices with order n by n were n less than 2. Okay, we call those two matrices to be with smaller instance. Okay, and we have a solution. So when I compute the product of those two matrices with smaller instance, let small b represents number of multiplications involved. So here I repeat, two matrices with order n by n where n less than or equal to 2, I'll call them as a smaller instance. And I can compute the product of those two matrices without subdividing the matrix. Okay. While computing product, let B be the number of multiplications involved. Got it? So initial condition, if n less than or equal to 2, it says T of n equals to B multiplications. Now, when n greater than 2, I mean the order of two matrices is with order of two matrices to be multiplied, let it be n by n, and n is greater than 2. So n is greater than 2. Got it? Clear? So when is greater than 2 means what happens? I should divide, clear? That matrix into submatrices. Clear? So I need to consider number of multiplications inward in each submatrix. Got it? So now to determine number of multiplications and see number of, what I said, I need to divide that matrix with larger instance into submatrices. Then submatrices of A and B I should multiply. So when multiplying submatrices of A and B, how many additions are involved using Strasson's? Let me observe. So observe that how many multiplications here to compute the overall PQRSTUV. One multiplication in case of P, one multiplication in case of Q, one multiplications in case of RSTUV. So totally 7 multiplications are involved. Got it? So here I have in recurrence relation I have written T of n equal to 7T of n by 2. And what is that plus an square? An square means, see here, not only multiplications, 7 multiplications are there, right? How many additions? There are some number of additions. Okay. So I mean to say, now you just think how many additions are required to add two matrices of order n by n? It's nothing but n square. It's nothing but n square. Got it? So I mean, in recurrence relation, 7 represents 7 multiplications in each of PQ or STUV. To give 7 multiplications, 1 in each PQ or STUV. And there are some additions too. And we know for the complexity for adding two matrices of order n by n is n square. Got it? So now you set up this recurrence relation. Got it? So now I have a recurrence relation with initial condition. Got it? Now should I solve this, or can I take an advantage of master theorem? See, you are given both initial condition and recurrence relation. Of course, you can solve. If you don't want to solve and you want to determine a growth rate, you just take an advantage of Master's theorem. So now what is, now let me take an advantage of Master's theorem. What is A? It's nothing but 7. What is B? It is nothing but 2. Clear? A in this case, it's 7. B is nothing but 2. What is D? Degree of an square. What is degree of an square? Is quadratic. So A is 7, B is 2, D is 2. What is relation between A and B power D? A is 7, B power D is 2 square, that is 4. 7 greater than 4. Got it? So when 7 greater than 4, okay, when A is greater than B power D, got it? So what we are going to get, we're looking at the 3 cases, okay? Select a case that represents A greater than B power D. And with that case, I'm going to get T of n equals big O of n log 7 to the base 2. What is T of n? Big O of n to the power log 7 base 2. Clear? So using your calculator, just check log 7 to base 2, you will get 2.81. So in general, what I can say, T of n for Strasson's matrix multiplication is big O n to the power 2.81. So I repeat, T of n in this case is big O of n to the power 2.81. Clear? And one more thing, I will choose on big O means it's an upper bound, not above n power 2.81 multiplication. But conventional method, what I find is big theta of n cube. So, n to the power 2.81 as a value less than n cube. So it means Strassen's matrix multiplication has better efficiency than conventional method of matrix multiplication. Got it? So all of you came to know about Strassen's matrix multiplication. Okay, analysis part, we have seen Strassen's matrix multiplication as growth rate n to the power 2.81, which is less than growth rate of conventional method, that is n cube. So to compute, okay, product of two matrices of using Strassen's matrix multiplication, first you compute P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, okay, with this formulas. Once you have P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, you compute C11 as P plus S minus T plus V, C12 as R plus T, C21 as Q plus S, C22 as P plus R minus Q plus U. Okay, so this is about today's session. Thank you for listening.